Welcome, intrepid seekers of forbidden knowledge. I am the guardian of this holocron, a repository of the profound machinations and cunning thoughts of the feared and respected Andrik Ironfist. Prepare yourselves to delve into the labyrinth of my thoughts and contingencies, where every revelation is both a boon and potential snare. This holocron shall serve as the conduit to the mind of a master strategist. Tread carefully, for the secrets contained within may reshape destinies or lead to your very demise. Interlopers, I now offer you a simple choice. You may delve into my thoughts by sifting through my private journal. You can be presented with a more thorough overview of this device and its functions. Or lastly, you can hear of my Zelphys protocols. This holocron was a gift bestowed upon me by the great Santa himself. Within its obsidian exterior lies a matrix of encrypted data. It houses my personal journal, the Zelphys protocols, and a labyrinth of other strategic musings. However, it is no mere repository of information. This holocron harbors untapped potential as a formidable power source that even I haven't discovered all the secrets to. It has seemingly limitless energy. Harnessed adeptly, it could amplify the prowess of anyone mighty enough, rendering it as a conduit to channels of unparalleled strength. Tread carefully, though, for this device conceals both knowledge and danger, just waiting to be unleashed. Journal entry number 1. Rise of the Chancellor. At long last the bureaucrats are disposed of. Now I can really begin the process of cleaning up this city. The rampant crime and debauchery will come to a screeching halt now that I'm at the reins. Let all enemies of justice tremble and quake, for their days are soon at hand. Journal entry number 2. Arrival of a god. Impossible. Simply impossible. The worst has come to pass. That overinflated moron has actually gone and done it. He's become a god. He can seemingly raise the dead and brainwash anyone with the lift of his fingers. He has become the most dangerous thing in my path, and he will require much planning and cunning to overcome. Nevertheless, I must keep pushing forward. Fortunately, he doesn't seem to know of the aces I've had up my sleeve, and that's what's going to come back to bite him. Operations the game was rigged from the start, and Tyr's Hammer are both ready to go. The game was rigged from the start. When the time comes, myself, Jorrick, Jeszita, and Zelphys, with the help of Shrigman, will all sneak into the bunker and assassinate Tree Trunks with the use of my orb of anti-magic and the knowledge I've gained from stealing his tome. Without access to magic and his potential godlike powers, Tree Trunks will be reduced to just a man, and any man can be killed. Tyr's Hammer. In order for the immediate termination of all of Tree Trunk's followers in Waterdeep and Ragnard, I entrust the execution of this to only my primary corps. Upon receiving the order, they will spread word to all the troops and immediately raid any and all of his temples in the surrounding area and put an end to this rebellion. Journal entry number 3. The Fall of Icarus. He never even saw it coming. He was so confident in his newfound abilities, the fool didn't even bother to carry a weapon on him. Instead of a grand fight, it ended up feeling more like putting down an old dog. Journal entry number 4. Death of a Hero. I haven't felt a hollowness like this since the war. I relived the events of the last few days, and it still doesn't feel real. Jorrick's gone. My only solace in this is that it seems like the rest of the team's broken up over this as much as I am. He and Shrigman especially seem to have grown close over the course of the last year or so of our journey. I think the little guy's taking it pretty hard. I should probably speak with him. In the end, I'm glad Jorrick at least went out on his own terms. Journal entry number 5. Gone without a trace. Tiamat's been defeated, but Shrigman's gone. At some point in the battle, he just disappeared. None of the others saw him leave, so it's as if he's vanished. I had held out a vain hope that he would come back to me, but as the days turned into weeks and then into months, there's been no sight of him, and my initial fear and anger have just turned into a hollow sadness. I thought after everything, after the loss of Grisha and Jorrick and my wife, I couldn't feel any worse. I was wrong. I thought after all the shared grief, Shrigman and I were as close as kin, but now he's either dead or abandoned me like the others, and I can't stand the thought of either. Now the only one left with my affection is my son and heir, Damon. Journal entry number 6. Lost son. My last anchor to this world, my pride and joy Damon, has vanished. The weight of the world pales in comparison to the abyss left by the disappearance of my son. His absence echoes through the corridors of my hall, a haunting melody that reverberates in the silence of my thoughts. My once indomitable spirit falters beneath the burden of this grief, a desolation that eclipses the triumphs of conquest. In the cosmic expanse, I am but a despot adrift, grappling with the void carved by his absence. The schemes and stratagems that once danced in my mind now falter, overshadowed by the haunting specter of a son lost to this cruel, cruel world. Journal entry number 7. Whispers from the East. I've just been read a report from the City of Lights that has me feeling like my heart is beating out of my chest. They say Shrigman's returned. He was spotted in a stage production in front of a full crowd. After all these years, my friend, you've returned. Wherever you are, I'm going to come and find you. Behold the Zelphys protocols, an arsenal of contingency plans meticulously crafted for the perpetual safeguarding of myself. In the face of threats both mundane and extraordinary, these protocols stand as my shield. Recognize their necessity, for in the paranoia of the writings lies one undeniable truth. This relentless vigilance is the only thing that has kept me alive this long, and they have proved their necessity over the years, so I make no excuses for their existence. Zelphys Protocols, codename Skin Changer. False Zelphys is the namesake of these protocols, as she is one of, if not the most dangerous persons I have ever encountered in my travels. She has come the closest out of anyone to killing me. Zelphys can seemingly change into any form she wants at will, making her very unpredictable and hard to prepare for. I could potentially utilize Tree Trunks' tracking ability to nullify this if I convince him that she's a threat. Other than the shape-shifting, most of Zelphys' abilities seem to be magical in origin, so some sort of field of anti-magic should be enough to neutralize these. Need to look into developing an easy way to deploy this field. Maybe a charm, arrows, I don't know. Zelphys Protocols, codename Suplex City. Thane is highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat and incredibly durable. He seems like he'd be quite the hard foe to defeat if I decided to battle him at close range. Therefore, the easiest way to take him out would be to simply overwhelm him with bodies. It is essential to make sure he is away from his mercenary entourage, as with additional forces there to back him up, neutralizing him could be a very costly endeavor. Addendum. Thane went missing during the expedition to Chult, so he isn't currently a threat. Zelphys Protocols, codename Dragon Spawn. After the recent siege of Waterdeep, Jeszita has proven to be far more of a hindrance than an ally. She's incredibly selfish, greedy, power-hungry. She is the most likely threat to myself of the group, as she is the most ambitious, and likely to betray me. In terms of disposing of her, she could easily be led into a trap if convinced that some trivial thing she wants is in the trap. She relies too heavily on her harp weapon. I've thought up two solutions to this. Firstly, immobilizing her hands to prevent her from playing, and I've also had the boys in the lab crafting up weapons and gear to cancel out fear, so even if I can't stop her from playing, the heart will lose most of its potency. Remember, never forget that Grisha's blood is on her hands. Addendum. Jeszita appears to be out of the equation after the revelations of her past have come to light. I don't look forward to the day she's likely to return. Further addendum. My preparations against Jeszita were well made when she appeared on the field on the side of Tiamat. She didn't ever harp after the events of the journey to Hell, so those measures ended up being mostly unnecessary. However, the dragon scale armor was highly effective at neutralizing her acid breath, and she felled the Lightbringer. The battle was not without its costs, however, as she managed to cut out my right eye before she fell. If we ever meet again, I hope to return this in kind. Zelphys Protocols, codename Manson. Highly overconfident and cocky, Tree Trunks forgets that he is only human. His main source of power comes from his magical abilities, which could easily be countered by an anti-magic field. Without those, he is but a lonely ranger who would fold quickly in a fight of fists and steel. The most dangerous thing about him is the cult of personality he has formed around himself in his Bean cult. His death, if made public, would likely lead to immediate unrest, as his fanatical supporters would most definitely attempt an uprising. Need to set up contingencies with Willie to be ready to raid Bean temples in the event of things turning sour with Tree Trunks. I received a warning from the god Athreos when the party traveled to another dimension. To you all who travel with the deity, be warned. Only for so long can a man be a god, and vice versa. A storm is coming, and at the center of that storm lies an evil of which you have no comprehension. Go ahead and sail. Sail back to your world, and live your insignificant lives to the fullest. For the day will come for you to be tested, and if you fail, then all of creation may be laid bare. Dark days are ahead. Be well, mortals, as we shall meet again. This warning could seemingly only refer to Tree Trunks and his goal of becoming a god. Zelphys Protocols, codename the Gambler. A truly dangerous member of the party, Shrigman usually seems harmless, but has been seen to be a powerful threat when he wants to be. Shrigman is physically weak, and if magic is taken out of the equation, he should fall relatively quickly in combat. His beans, however, are an uncounterable power, whose pure chaos can be devastating if not neutralized. I need to have the boys in the lab look into gas masks to counteract the bomb variations. Addendum. Beans are no longer a factor, as Jorrick has done the world a favor by destroying the last of these wretched things. Previous assessment of Shrigman's powers are wildly out of date, and need a complete rethink. Zelphys Protocols, codename Tin Man. By far the most mysterious member of the team, Nefermantu is seemingly able to neutralize any threat at will by sending them to his patron. Maybe gagging or removing his ability to speak might be enough to neutralize this. Unknown if this ability is magical in origin. Most of his other abilities should be able to be neutralized with a simple field of anti-magic. Apparently he can also beam creatures he has abducted back down to this plane to fight on his behalf. Addendum. Nefermantu now has access to an elite secret police completely independent of myself and Waterdeep's forces. I'll have to tread carefully and hope that someday I find a clear advantage against him. Zelphys Protocols, codename Zelphys Protocols, codename Leo. Panowar is the newest addition to the party, and he seems to be a very powerful warrior. Addendum. I don't know who this is, or why they're listed here in my private notes. That's a scary thought, so I should be on my guard in case this mystery man with the ability to modify memory ever returns. Zelphys Protocols, codename Golem. Fomerak is the best soldier a ruler could ever hope for. You need something done, you need only ask him, and he'll see it done with no complaints. However, I think back a lot to the day Jean-Luc confronted me on the floor of the Senate, when it looked as though things were turning violent. Fomerak simply backed away and seemed willing to let whatever could have happened to me happen. Of course, I was never any real danger from that fool, but I've never forgotten what he was willing to let happen, even after all these years. They say there's a special ring in hell for traitors. If the need ever arises, Fomerak is able to blend in practically anywhere, and he can hit like a train. He's the best Waterdeep has to offer, but anything that can stop him from hiding would neutralize one of his primary weapons, and in a straight fight, he would fall to my blade. Zelphys Protocols, codename Snake in the Garden. Despite being the only one left, I try not to interact with Bofa as much as I can. We have a sort of unspoken agreement at this point. He doesn't mess with my officials or my citizens, and I don't interfere with whatever he gets up to. Truthfully, whatever he's cooking up might be nefarious, but at this point, what's to gain out of stopping him? Bofa's just a gnome, so in terms of physicality, he's not much of a threat, but he's a rogue, so you can bet he's got the ability to sneak up on you. Just find some way to nullify his invisibility cloak and he should be way less of a threat. Zelphys Protocols, codename Angel of Death. Bahamut is supposedly the draconic god of justice and good, and the brother of Tiamat. I find this idea laughable, as how can a dragon ever claim to be good when it wields the power to kill and destroy at a whim? Zelphys Protocols, codename Cockroach. Kelran has continuously been a pain in my ass for many years now. I once shot him in the face at point-blank range, and he still escaped to scurry back into his hole and give me a headache another day. One of these days, I'm gonna finish him for good. Addendum. I've received recent reports that he was there the day of the prison riot, and he was spotted leaving with that group with Zeke. Zelphys Protocols, codename False Prophet. Feign is a priest who claims to be the successor to Tree Trunks, and that he has access to his magic beans. So far, there is no evidence to support the idea of him actually possessing the beans. We do, however, have confirmed reports that he possesses Tree Trunks' old book of godship. I know very little about him and his ilk. I need to do more research into them. Zelphys Protocols, codename Town Fool. A younger Andrik, still full of hate and venom, would have killed Jean-Luc on the spot the day he confronted him on the floor of the Senate. But after losing Jorrick, I didn't have it in me. After that, the more he bumbled around Waterdeep, I came to realize just how simple-minded and frankly harmless he was. He can run around and spout conspiracy theories to all the townsfolk, and they'll continue to pity and entertain him. He is in no way a threat, and honestly, I put him in here for fun. Zelphys Protocols, codename Goblin King. A leader of a powerful goblin nation to the south of the Iron Empire, Grungo Tungus and his goblin horde are known for their extreme adaptability and power in battle. I'll do my best not to get on his bad side. Zelphys Protocols, codename Prodigal Son. Out of all the names on this list, Zeke might be the most unfortunate of them all. Zeke's father, Grisha, was a captain of mine that died for me in Jalaxel's attack on Waterdeep. These last few years, I've been enforcing less and less of an iron grip on the Empire, which has let crime slowly seep back in, even to the very capital. One day a group of thugs decided that since Zeke and his mother were elves, they looked like an easy target. One thing led to another, and his mother was killed. He blames me for her death, and I don't blame him. If I had just remained strong all those years, she'd still be here today, and Zeke would have a respectable place in my court. I made sure to personally hunt down and kill every member of the gang. It was the least I could do. I knew Zeke was angry about everything, but it got out of hand whenever he was taken in by that purple fellow, Gusafab. If I manage to find them, I'm gonna tear that bastard limb from limb for manipulating that kid. I just need to speak with Zeke. Then he'll see. And then he can return home and help me fix the Empire, just like he always dreamed of. Zelphys Protocols, codename IO. I've only heard whispers of some kind of threat, and I've only heard it referred to as IO. Zelphys Protocols, codename Iron Giant. Although Jorrick is my closest friend and ally, I must be prepared for any and all eventualities, and though I hope and pray it never comes to it, I very well may have to face him in combat one day. Jorrick is at his most deadly when he has entered a berserker rage, as he will no doubt become an unstoppable killing machine. The amount of lives it would likely take to take him down in a straight fight cannot be understated. Freakishly strong, the best way to take him down would likely need to be through cunning and deceit. At the end of the day, Jorrick's only a man, and will fall to most things that can kill any man. Overwhelming odds, poison, projectiles, etc. He's highly dependent on his signature weapon, Soulthorn. Getting this away from him will be crucial in taking him down. Addendum. After seeing their extreme effectiveness with Jarlaxle, ambushing him with the city's ballistas seems like it would be the best course of action.